Welcome everyone. Before we get into the video, I would like to address the game changes in patch 14.10 which have affected Shaco greatly. From the games I've played so far, I can confirm that while AD carry items have gotten stronger, which should in theory also make Crit Shaco stronger, this isn't exactly the case. With Shaco you need utility early game. Therefore, building Profane Hydra or any other assassin item early is ideal. Trying to rush Infinity because of its useless components and high cost, you're basically killing Warrior early to mid-game power. And even when you get to have Infinity, you will likely do almost no damage with it, because you lack the lethality and only have 25% crit. Therefore, you won't be getting multiple crits in a row. Also, both junglers and AD carries gain more XP from farming now, which might sound great, but it is actually an issue, as with Shaco, farming isn't your priority. Therefore, even while winning, you're getting directly nerfed, as both the enemy AD carry and jungler will either be higher level than you or would easily catch up with you compared to before. The perfect example is to look at assassins win rates. They all dropped insanely across the board, and Shaco is no exception. Do not be fooled by the high win rate, that is actually AP Shaco. When we look specifically at AD Shaco build win rates, we can see they are quite depressing. On top of all this, tanks have become stronger across the board, plus Bork has received a massive nerf. While farming junglers such as Bel'Veth and Viego have had their builds massively buffed, as Kraken Slayer has been changed, while Bork actually has better damage when it comes to farming the jungle and killing squishy champions, respectively Shaco. Also, AP junglers such as Lilia and Karthus are extremely strong now, as the new AP items are insane. To conclude, everyone got buffed, and while crit items are stronger on Shaco, they are also stronger on everyone else, as he is completely power creeped by the much stronger AD carries, stronger tanks, farming junglers that got buffed, and also AP carries. If there was ever a time to switch to AP Shaco, it is now. Regardless, as we are still early into the new split, I shall do my best to play much more and hopefully find a way to profit from all those changes and then share it with you. Now, after I got all the bad news out of the way, one thing that will never change about the game is player skill level being a main factor to winning you the game, aka how to gank, secure objectives, dominate the jungle, and how to win even when the enemy is much stronger than you. That is exactly what I will show you how to do in this video. So watch carefully and learn as I share my best strategies on how to carry with Shaco in High Elo. This season I did actually peak Master, 200 LP, getting quite close to Grandmaster. I'm thinking I can easily try to get to Grandmaster next season and even push for Challenger. So I do a classic start, blue into Frog, nothing too special. As you can notice, I'm not going for Fiddlesticks for his red buff. Why? The reason is simple. I know Fiddlesticks started on the Raptor's camp, because neither his bot nor top lane leashed him. And obviously, depending on the enemy jungler, you can usually tell when they're gonna start on the Raptor's camp. For instance, Kayn also always likes to start on the Raptor's camp. Here, as you can see, my bot lane got first blood, which is very neat, but unfortunately, Samira died. I pinged Trash to let me get a kill, and luckily he did so. In this situation, it's always best to go for the cannon if it's free. That extra gold is very neat and can really put you ahead. Now, I knew Fiddlesticks was gonna be bot side. Why? Obviously, because he started top side and he pathed bot side. Unfortunately, Karma was there, but as you can see here, I'm forcing a fight. I know Samira's coming. I'm keeping my E to slow Karma, and I also have red buff. Always trying to push for fights early game because we have the numbers advantage, we have the position advantage. Be as aggressive as you can with Shaco. And that fight got me the Skull Crab. If a gank was possible mid lane, it would have been nice, but that wasn't the case. I'm rotating top side, I'm going straight for the next Skull Crab. I'm seeing the enemy bot lane permanently pushing, and I'm going straight for a gank. Now, I know they don't have summoner spells. I get as slow as possible, and luckily we kill him. One thing that I've always started doing in every single game is force Dragon early game. It is a million times more important compared to Void Grubs, especially the Infernal one. Infernal, Mountain Dragon will be your top priority early game. You can easily clear them as long as you get help from your support. Fiddlesticks got the Void Grubs, which is unfortunate, but the way the game works currently is that it is almost physically impossible to get both Void Grabs and Dragon unless the enemy jungler is completely AFK. I've mentioned it before, it's always a trade. Build wise, I changed my build and I prefer to to go Yomus. As you can see, I'm prioritizing Skull Crab over Blue Buff to not give Fiddlesticks any opportunity to contest the objective, and then I'm going straight for a gank. Zilean plays well, he's defensive, and we kill the Yon. Always push a lane after you gank it, and as you can see, notice how the enemy Fiddlesticks is level 7. He surprisingly has 2 levels on me. Shaco's number 1 power is early game aggression, early game ganking, and early game invading. He will always get outscaled compared to a farming jungler, and Fiddlesticks is a monster in terms of how fast he can clear his jungle early game. I'm going back to the Dirk build first with Berserker's Greaves. I always prioritize Berserkers over Dirk. As you can see, Fiddlesticks is level 8. That is absolutely insane. He destroys me. I have nothing. I cannot do anything against him. He has a full item. That is absolutely absurd. I do ask my team for help, and this is super nice because they do come in. Again, the Fiddlesticks is way too strong, and the enemy team also responds here. And this is why I titled this video, How to Carry When You Basically Are Losing the Game. Unfortunately, I try to get as much out of the situation as possible, but really it doesn't go too great. Trash gets the kill on Fiddlesticks, and I lose my red buff. Luckily, Yon overextends. I catch him on his E and he's dead. Again, what do I do next? As you can see, Void Grabs are up, but I'm not going for them. Instead, I'm rotating bot lane, I'm securing Skull Crab, and then I'm waiting for Dragon. Always prioritize Dragon. Fiddlesticks got a Void Grabs, but they're relatively useless, to be honest with you. They only help you get plates, and they don't help you as much as Dragon does, especially later on into the game. Besides, when you get Dragon, you're getting closer to get the souls, which makes a huge difference. As you can see here, I'm trying to stop him from getting the tower. Unfortunately, Shaco's extremely squishy. If you don't have clone, you're basically dead. Also, one thing that you can notice, I'm not going for jungle camps. I'm only going for buffs, objectives, and ganking. Again, this just shows how absurd Fiddlesticks is in terms of strength and in terms of how hard he counters Shaco. And there are quite a few champions just like Fiddlesticks. Examples being Graves, Zac, Red Cane, and so on. You basically have no chance of 1v1ing those champions. So even though you invade them, and sometimes you even beat them early game, but they simply outfarm you, outscale you, and they just destroy you in 1v1s in the mid game. As you can see, we are already behind in gold with approximately 4k gold. Even though I'm straight in front of them, relatively speaking, they don't have vision on me because I'm too far away, and I'm using the wall to extend my Q's range and get behind them. That is a huge win for us because it opened the next objective, which is the Herald. The enemy queen is level 11. She has 2 levels on me. Every single dude in the enemy team is quite fed. Only now, when there's literally nothing that I can do, I'm taking some jungle camps, recalling and going straight for Dragon. As you can see, I'm buying Yomus, and I'm always using Yomus early game for its movement speed. It is absolutely imperative that you have movement speed early game. The whole enemy team is preparing for Dragon. Here, what I'm doing is I'm using boxes to gain vision on the Dragon. As you can see, they're using a control word to deny the vision of my box. But if you place a second box, the box will always give vision for 1 second before the control word counters it. And as you can see here, I'm placing the box, I'm getting the vision for a split second, and that's more than enough to cancel Fiddlestick's fear. And this is what baits him, and our team wins the fight. Now, this may seem a little troll, but the reason why I used Herald, and sometimes I will use Herald on a lane to distract the enemy team. Either they want to contest Dragon, either they stop Herald from getting their tower. I know where the enemy is, I know Ezreal is low HP, I know they have no vision on me as I'm sitting inside the pit, and I use Q, jump on him, one-shot him. Luckily, Zilean has ultimate and revives me. And here's where it starts. Around minute 20, you want to start split pushing. Now, as I said, I don't really farm the jungle that much, but what I do farm is minion waves. They give a lot more gold and a lot more XP. Now, this is the perfect example of how Fiddlesticks is so much stronger than me. I died in his CC, there was nothing that I could have done there. Our team is playing very defensive. The enemy is quite ahead. They have a 6,000 gold lead at this point, and they're looking for Baron. We are basically cornered in our base. Darius dies, my whole team is behind. This is where I'm starting to do picks and secure every objective and make sure we win the game. I see Ezreal is extended on mid lane. I waste his exhaust. The best you can do in a situation where your team is behind and you start losing is to never lose hope or focus. Always always try to go for every single little mistake that the enemy does. That's your opportunity. Unfortunately, there's nothing that I can do here to counter the enemy's Baron, therefore I'm securing the next objective, that being Dragon. Now as you can see, in terms of the build that I'm using, I'm going for Borg second. Borg second is absolutely insane, especially since enemies are usually tanky and it helps a lot. It gives you sustain, it gives you fight power, it gives you everything, and it also helps you split push, on top of helping you secure objectives. Here I see Queen, undecided in the bush, I get her out of the fight, then I'm zoning. Unfortunately my whole team dies, therefore there's nothing that I can do, and I die as well. The only thing that you can do in team fights is to try and get as many enemies out of the fight as possible. Take advantage of every single opportunity that you have, every single mistake that the enemy does. And this is exactly what I was talking about earlier with doing picks on enemies. Simply they tunnel vision one thing, as thinks he's safe behind the wall, but nope, we kill him. And just like that we secure Baron. Now the best thing that you can do after you take Baron is either to recall or split push the closest lane to you. Now unfortunately Ezreal is defending the tower, meaning that I cannot take it, but what I do instead is I reset, and as you can see, I'm not even bothering with the buff. I know Ezreal is top lane, I'm going straight for the peak. Even while relatively ahead compared to Ezreal, because he built fucking Randuins, I cannot really one-shot him, I have no chance of one-shotting him. That's exactly why you go Borg second, counter that type of build. And I get caught here and I think I die. Holy shit, actually I don't. Apparently, her W doesn't give true vision, meaning that when I use Q, I can still go invisible. So what I do here, I don't use my E. Instead, as you can see, Queen is being slowed by every single basic attack that my clone lands. I come out of stealth, land a combo, boom, she's dead. I'm going to help my team every single time if there's an opportunity in a certain team fight. Zilean boosts me. I know where Ezreal is. He's trying to constantly poke my team. He uses his E, always jump on enemies that use their escape abilities. Because he didn't have E, the flash didn't save him. Because I rotated around the objective, I stayed around it, the enemy forced a shitty team fight, we take advantage of the situation, I kill the enemy carry, and just like that, we secure the dragon. Now we have the dragon soul. Unfortunately, the hashtag dragon is probably the worst dragon, but it is what it is. Better than nothing, you know. I do not fight. I never fight an enemy that I know that I cannot do anything against. Instead, I wait in ambush with my box in a bush. I dodge his ultimate with Q, and unfortunately has flash. Then I definitely get away here. Even after all of that, the enemy team is still ahead in gold with almost 3k, and they have more towers than us. Again, the enemy fiddlesticks gets caught, so what do we do next? We rush the objective, in this case Baron. I take Baron, I don't even try to teamfight, I ignore the teamfight, and I'm going straight to split pushing. Now unfortunately my team dies here, they don't recall, big mistake. The enemy is defending the tower, I do not bother, I simply recall. I'm going for the other lane. Securing the red buff, only objective. Now I see Yon, and this time I'm getting my revenge. As you can see here, I'm not going straight through the lane, instead I'm choosing to secure the jungle to make sure no one is laying an ambush on me. Then I secure the minions, and then I push. Now this is where I almost lost the game. My whole team died, and I'm the only one left to defend. I choose to recall because I know I can hold the base. The reason why I did not partake in the team fight is because usually by split pushing, you split the enemy team. Therefore, your team technically has an advantage as you lay pressure on them, but in this case, that didn't happen. Now, as you can see here, I'm not YOLOing anybody. I have the towers on my side. The number one thing that you want to do in this situation is kill the minions. Always just kill the minions. Look, I'm using my clone, I'm smiting the big minion even, I believe. If I kill the minions, there's nothing they can do. Fiddlesticks even ints for the tower, and I defend the game. Now what do? The next objective, that's right, Elder Dragon in this case. Now unfortunately, Darius dies, but it is what it is. I can solo rush it. Luckily, I do get some help from my team. Now I do have ultimate, and notice, as Yon YOLOs in, I just don't care. I have my ult, I have my team behind me, and he's just dead meat at this point. And what do I do next? That's right, I'm not going bot lane, because my Samira split pushing bot lane. Instead I'm recalling, going straight for top lane. Always split push. And finally I got a tower. My objective is not to fight. Unfortunately I get mega unlucky and I die. But at least we get one kill. And of course he doesn't die. He gets away with 1 HP. Darius dies as well. That's super unlucky. Now as you can see how one mistake can absolutely lose us the game, as we lost Baron here because of that. Luckily the enemy team does somewhat get caught here at Baron because they take too long to take it, and we actually kill a few of them. Now notice, I'm not staying with my team. I'm always running around inside the jungle, always planning an ambush. I only go in when I know that the tower is free. Therefore I help them secure it, and again I'm looking for the enemy flankers, in this case Queen. I know she will be in the jungle, therefore boom, I instantly counter her flank, we kill one of the enemy carries, my team doesn't get countered, my backline doesn't get fucked in the ass because I countered their flankers. Again, back to split pushing. And I notice there is a big fight mid lane. So what do? I'm going for the flank. If they build tanky items, they have to be low HP to kill them. But if you have a teammate on your side, you can always fight. Notice how I'm not forcing the enemy base. Instead I'm just killing the minions, and this is exactly why I don't force the enemy base. If there are no walls to queue behind, you're basically screwed. Unfortunately, 3 of my teammates are dead here because we took the enemy inhibitors. They are blocked inside their base. And as you can see, even though they are coming to try and stop me from taking the Elder Dragon, it is too late, and boom, we secure the Elder, we secure the enemy blue buff, taking the wave. And what do I do now? That's right, only buff and then back to split pushing. My main goal here is to take the top lane tower. The enemies are defending it, no problem. What do? I rotate on a different lane. The enemy is focused on my team, they're all top side, and just like that I can take one tower. It's not much, but it's honest work. You physically cannot fight the enemy in this situation. All you can do is take the wave and take every single objective that you can. Here I'm ping spamming my team to please go and do Baron, because frankly, if we cannot fight and win in a fair 5v5 against the enemy team, there's no point to fight them in their own base. Now that we secured Baron, I know that I can finally take the top lane tower. If it's not me, it's gonna be at least my team, because the more minions we have, the more pressure we have. Unfortunately, both their inhibitors respawned. Here I'm trying to go for a pick, but it's quite aggressive. I see Karma, I see Fiddlesticks, and I know I cannot kill either of them. At least I cannot one-shot them without their team coming in and CC chaining me and then killing me. I'm sitting around in the jungle. I know that nobody can be bot side. Therefore, the 2 enemies that are not showing, they must be on the top side of the map. I'm going for the pick, and boom. That's a nice one-shot. I placed my team in a situation where we are 5 versus 4. I see my team going for the fight, but I'm not going with them. Instead, I'm pushing the tower. I have my clone. There is nothing that Israel can do to stop me from taking the tower. Classic flash, am I right? My number 1 objective is always the enemy nexus, as that's how you actually win the game. If you're ahead in gold, you're ahead in items, you can one-shot the enemy. I had the second highest farm. Again, Fiddlesticks farmed the jungle for as long as he wanted to, but what I did after minute 20 was farm waves. That's what won us the game. That constant split pushing. The total damage to objective was completely off the scales compared to everyone else's. This was kind of a weird video, but if you enjoy it, let me know in the comments, and I'll do more replay reviews. And as always, until next time.